His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa met with Syria's ambassador to Bahrain, Mohammed Ali Ibrahim, at Rafah Palace. The discussions focused on strengthening bilateral relations, addressing issues of mutual interest and reviewing regional and international developments. For his part, the ambassador expressed his appreciation for His Royal Highness' commitment to strengthening Bahraini-Syrian relations and wished Bahrain continued growth and prosperity. The Minister of the Prime Minister's Court, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, attended this meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued Edict 72 for this year on the restructuring of the National Task Force on the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases based on a proposal submitted by the Minister of Health and following the approval of the Cabinet. The National Task Force on the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases shall be restructured under the chairmanship of the Minister of Health with the following members: the Assistant Under-Secretary for Public Health at the Ministry of Health, the Director of Testing and Metrology at the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, the Director of Animal Health at the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, the Director of the Youth Empowerment at the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Director of Climate Change and Sustainable Development at the Executive Office of the Supreme Council for the Environment, the Director of Student Activities at the Ministry of Education, the Director of the Media Office at the National Communication Centre, the Head of the Medical Services at the Primary Health Care Centres, the Chief of Medical Staff at Government Hospitals, the Consultant and Head of the Department of Cardiothoracic and Vascular Surgery at the Mohammed bin Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa Specialist Cardiac Centre, the Consultant of Endocrinologists, Diabetologists and Obesity Specialists at the King Hamad University Hospital, the Vice President of the Bahrain Diabetes Society, the President of the Bahrain Cancer Society and the Head of the Non-Communicable Diseases Group at the Public Health Directorate of the Ministry of Health shall serve as the rapporteur of the task force. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued Edict 73 for this year on the restructuring of the National Task Force for combating communicable diseases based on a proposal submitted by the Minister of Health and following the approval of the Cabinet. The National Task Force for combating communicable diseases shall be restructured under the chairmanship of the Minister of Health with the following members: Assistant Under-Secretary for Public Health at the Ministry of Health, Assistant Under-Secretary for Educational Services at the Ministry of Education, Director of the Animal Health Directorate at the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, Director of the Inspection Directorate at the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Director of Media Office at the National Communication Centre, Head of Medical Services at Primary Health Care Centres, Chief of Internal Medicine at Government Hospitals, Head of the Healthcare Facilities Regulation Department at the National Health Regulatory Authority, Head of the Infection Control Unit at the BDF Royal Medical Services, Chief Medical Officer at King Hamad University Hospital, and an infectious disease consultant from private hospitals to be selected by the Chairman of the Supreme Council of Health, Head of the Therapeutic Division at the Health and Social Affairs Directorate of the Ministry of Interior, the Head of the Communicable Diseases Department at the Ministry of Health will serve as rapporteur of the task force. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued Edict 74 this year, restructuring the National Committee to combat smoking and all types of products of tobacco based on a proposal by the Minister of Health and following the approval of the Cabinet. Article 1 stipulates that the National Committee to combat smoking and all types of products of tobacco should be restructured under the chairmanship of the Minister of Health with the following members: the Assistant Under-Secretary for Public Health at the Ministry of Health, the Director of Testing and Metrology at the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Director of Communication and Environmental Awareness at the Executive Office of the Supreme Council for the Environment, the Director of Human Resources at the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, the Director of Customs Compliance and Risk Management at the Customs Affairs of the Ministry of Interior, the Director of Tax Policy at the National Bureau for Revenue, the Director of the Media Office at the National Communication Centre, the Head of School School Health Section at the Guidance and Knowledge Resources Directorate at the Ministry of Education, the head of the Medical Services at the Primary Health Care Centres, the President of the Anti-Smoking Society, the head of the Tobacco and Smoking Control Group of the Public Health Directorate at the Ministry of Health shall serve as the rapporteur of the committee. Membership in the committee shall be for a term of 3 years, renewable. Article 2 stipulates that the committee may consult with experts and specialists it deems appropriate for advice on specific matters. However, such consultants shall have no voting rights in the committee's decisions. Article 3 stipulates that Edict 40 of 2022, which restructured the National Committee to combat smoking and all types and products of tobacco, shall be repealed. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa deputized His Majesty the King's personal representative, Chairman of the Supreme Council for the Environment, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, to attend the closing ceremony of the 8th edition of the Nasser bin Hamad Marine Heritage Season held yesterday in the presence of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Upon arrival, His Majesty was welcomed by a number of their Highnesses, ministers, senior officials and members of the Bahrain Inherited Traditional Sports Committee, Mawruth. A welcoming speech was then delivered, which reviewed the events of the 8th edition of the Nasser bin Hamad Marine Heritage Season, which marks the conclusion of a competitive journey that lasted for more than 3 consecutive months, which held various competitions that embodied Bahrain's authenticity and rich maritime history.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما يستوي البحران هذا عذب فرات سائغ شرابه وهذا ملح أجاج ومن كل تأكلون لحما طريا وتستخرجون حلية تلبسونها وترى الفلك فيه مواخر لتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى ذلكم الله ربكم له الملك والذين تدعون من دونه ما يملكون من قطمير إن تدعوهم لا يسمعوا دعاءكم ولو سمعوا ما استجابوا لكم ويوم القيامة يكفرون بشرككم ولا ينبئك مثل خبير صدق الله العظيم.
His Highness then watched the start of the open water freestyle swimming competition for the 30 to 45 age group and the swimming competition for the 46 and over. He also watched the start of the final race for traditional 30-foot rowing boats over a distance of 3 kilometers for His Majesty the King's Cup, with the participation of elite teams representing Bahrain and the GCC. Then His Highness crowned the winners of the final competitions, congratulating all winners and participants, praising the level of performance throughout the competitions. He said that the support of His Majesty the King of traditional sports embodies the keenness to preserve heritage sports and encouraging all efforts that preserve and develop heritage sports, as well as motivate Bahraini youth to participate with the aim of consolidating Bahrain's identity and reviving its heritage. His Highness congratulated the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work, Youth Affairs, Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and SCYS First Deputy Chairman, Chairman of the General Sports Authority, President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, on the success of the 8th edition of the Nasser bin Hamad Marine Heritage Season. His Highness expressed pride in the great efforts made to revive Bahraini heritage and in the wide participation in exciting competitions this season. He expressed gratitude for all efforts of the organizers and supervisors and wished everyone continued success. The Ahd Oman team from Oman won first place in the popular rowing race for His Majesty the King's Cup, led by Captain Hamoud Salem Al-Bahri. The team Assar from Bahrain, led by Captain Abdullah Khalifa Al-Hadi, came in second, while the team Shabab Sahar from Oman, led by Captain Ibrahim Salah Al-Ghaithi, came in third. In the open water freestyle competition for the 30 to 45 age group, Mohammed Yahya Jaffan took first place, Mohammed Abdul Aziz Al Dosari came second, and Hamid Mohammed Al Mansouri came in third. In the swimming competition for the 46 and over, Sanad Badr Jassim took first place, while Abdurrahman Jassim Abdurrahman came second, and Nawaf Hamid Jadam came third. The Speaker of the Council of Representatives, Ahmed Al-Musallam, met with Auditor General of the National Audit Office, Sheikh Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, who presented the 22nd NAO Annual Report for 24-25. Al-Musallam emphasized the legislative authority's dedication to strengthening the financial and administrative oversight system, which aims to protect public funds and ensure high-quality, efficient and equitable performance. He reiterated the importance of working within the rule of law, institutional governance and the developmental framework established by His Majesty the King. The Speaker praised His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister's directives, which urge government entities to enhance internal controls, optimize public fund usage and systematically address issues raised in Audit Bureau reports. He lauded the NAO for its precise and independent monitoring of state funds, ensuring lawful usage and effective application of laws and administrative decisions. NAO Auditor General highlighted the office's proactive engagement with audited bodies and its compliance with professional standards. He acknowledged the support of His Majesty and His Royal Highness as crucial to the NAO's successful operations, reaffirming the office's dedication to its legal responsibilities. Now, the Shura Council Chairman Ali Al-Saleh also met with the Auditor General of the National Audit Office, Sheikh Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, who presented him with the 22nd NAO Annual Report for 24-25. Al-Saleh commended the NAO's report as a cornerstone in advancing the continuous work of government institutions and opening broader opportunities for development in the implementation of government programs, highlighting their role in ensuring sustainability of government institutions in line with Bahrain's broader development agenda under the leadership of His Majesty the King and the follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister. The Auditor General said that NAO adopts a proactive approach in preparing its reports in accordance with international technical standards to ensure that outcomes serve to national interest. He expressed gratitude to His Majesty the King for the continued support and to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister for directing government entities to implement the recommendations contained in the NAO's reports and for following up on the actions taken in response. The chairman of the Shura Council, Ali Al-Saleh, chaired the council's weekly session. The council approved 2 draft laws, issuing the Guarantees Transaction Law to enhance Bahrain's financial services and amending the 1973 Advertising Law to reorganize the sector for efficiency and protection. The chairman of the Shura Council, Ali Al-Saleh, also received Bahrain's Journalists Association chairman Isa Al-Shaiji and the association's board members to mark the formation of the new board and the issuance of the Press and Digital Media Law. Al-Saleh congratulated the board, noting that the new law stemmed from joint efforts to keep pace with media sector developments. He praised the association's 25-year contribution to national journalism, media training, and the promotion of Bahraini identity and values, highlighting its cultural and training programs. He affirmed the BJA's role in advancing freedom of expression, showcasing national achievements, and supporting the directives of His Majesty the King with the backing of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister. He said that Bahraini journalism continues to enjoy strong royal support and remains active and responsible. Al-Shaiji and the board thanked the Shura Council for its legislative oversight and praised its support for the Press and Digital Media Law. They valued their inclusion in media law discussions and affirmed their commitment to ongoing cooperation in serving national interests and Bahraini journalism. The chairman of the Supreme Council of Health and president of the Bahrain Diabetes Society, Lieutenant General Dr. Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, attended the World Diabetes Day celebrations organized by Babco Energies and the Bahrain Diabetes Society in the presence of the Vice President of Health and Environment at Babco Energies, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Khalid Al Khalifa, and the Chief Medical Officer of Awali Hospital, retired Major General Dr. Tariq Hamid. This event aims to raise awareness of diabetes, encouraging the community to adopt a healthy and sustainable lifestyle and improving the quality of life for people living with diabetes in the workplace, according to the International Diabetes Federation. The event featured a wide range of educational activities and medical examinations, as well as competitions, prizes, raffles, and gifts for children. Medical teams also provided specialized guidance on prevention and proper follow-up for diabetes treatment, in addition to providing consultations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chairman of the current session of the Ministerial Council, Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani, chaired the 166th session of the GCC Ministerial Council in preparation for the 46th GCC Summit of GCC leaders. The meeting was attended by GCC Foreign Affairs Ministers and the GCC Secretary General Jassim Al-Budaywi. Dr. Zayani delivered a speech conveying the greetings and appreciation of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister and their wishes of success for this meeting. He thanked the Kuwaiti Minister of Foreign Affairs, Abdullah Al-Yahya, for his efforts during his chairmanship of the previous session of the Ministerial Council. He said that Bahrain's hosting of the 46th GCC summit embodies the GCC countries' commitment to further strengthening cooperation. Al-Yahya also delivered a speech in which he thanked Dr. Zayani and the leadership, government and people of Bahrain for the warm welcome, generous hospitality and excellent organization for this ministerial meeting. He congratulated Bahrain on assuming the presidency of this GCC Supreme Council to strengthen joint Gulf action and consolidate the GCC's regional and international presence and standing. The GCC Secretary-General also expressed appreciation to His Majesty the King and to the government for hosting this meeting. He expressed gratitude to the GCC leaders for their unlimited support for the General Secretariat and joint Gulf action. They discussed developments in negotiations on free trade agreements between GCC and international countries and groups, the outcomes of joint meetings between GCC and friendly countries and international blocs, and ongoing arrangements for holding summits, conferences and strategic dialogues between the GCC and friendly countries. The meeting also discussed developments in current regional and international situation and their implications for regional security and stability. They discussed the final statement of the Gulf Summit and the Summit Declaration and decided to submit its recommendations to the Supreme Council for approval at the GCC 46th Summit, which will begin on December 3rd, 2025. Now, within the framework of joint Gulf cooperation, collaboration in the fields of health and education stands out as one of the key areas on which the GCC have focused their efforts over the past decades. Let's have a look.
The GCC continues to promote joint action in the health and education sectors, considering them to be fundamental pillars for human development and direct foundations for social security and sustainable development. In terms of health cooperation, the joint system was established in the mid-1970s and has gradually expanded to include the harmonization of health policies and regulations, the coordination of legislation, and the exchange of expertise among member states. The GCC has adopted a series of resolutions that establish the principle of equal access to government health services and the adoption of unified standards for the accreditation of health facilities, in addition to adopting an extended Gulf plan for the prevention of non-communicable diseases and developing a joint response system at border crossings. Integrative initiatives, including the Central Drug Registry, have also ensured the quality and safety of medicines, standardizing their prices, and enhancing the GCC's ability to develop their pharmaceutical industry and meet their needs independently and effectively. In terms of education, the GCC has made tangible progress in expanding learning opportunities, developing the academic environment, and improving the efficiency of education systems. From equal admission of students between countries to the establishment of quality assurance networks in higher education and the adoption of joint plans for curriculum development. Technical education and vocational training have also been strengthened, and unified Gulf guidelines for e-learning and blended learning have been adopted, keeping pace with digital transformations and ensuring improved educational outcomes. Specialized Gulf educational centers have undertaken research projects and periodic studies that contribute to the systematic and sustainable development of educational policies. This progress in the health and education sectors represents an extension of Gulf cooperation, which relies on institutional integration that directly impacts the lives of Gulf citizens, enhances the GCC's ability to address health and education challenges, and supports a future vision based on investing in people and building more efficient and stable societies.
Bahrain is preparing to host the 46th GCC summit this week under the chairmanship of His Majesty the King. And on this occasion, we recall the history of Bahrain in hosting Gulf summits over the past 46 years. The Arabian Gulf University and UNESCO's Regional Center announced holding the International Forum on Developing University Programs in Arab countries on the 2nd and 3rd of December. The forum aims to connect Arab universities with global trends in AI, sustainability, and the knowledge economy. It will serve as an interactive platform for decision makers, academics, and experts to create a unified Arab framework for university programs aligned with future skills and professions, shaping a roadmap for Arab educational institutions to keep pace with AI and digital education advancements. A parliamentary division delegation attended the conference on the role of parliaments in artificial intelligence in Malaysia. Chairing the session titled Legislation and Oversight in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, MP Dr. Mehdi Al-Shuwaykh said that Bahrain prioritizes AI under Economic Vision 2030 through its national strategy for AI and digital transformation. He said that this promotes justice, transparency, and accountability in public policy with advanced laws safeguarding privacy, digital security and trust in electronic environments. He said global parliaments must advance tech advances with rights protection and government oversight amid rising AI use in public services. Bahrain concludes a series of specialized exhibitions that attracted widespread attention, including Jewelry Arabia, Scent Arabia, and Cityscape Bahrain, all held under one roof at Exhibition World Bahrain. We have more in this report.
Jewelry Arabia and Scent Arabia, held concurrently with the Cityscape Real Estate Exhibition, witnessed a large turnout over the past few days, with their pavilions attracting the attention of visitors and those interested in the commercial and real estate sectors from both within and outside Bahrain. The bustling activity within Jewelry Arabia and Scent Arabia reflected the diversity of exhibits presented by participating companies. Visitors flocked to discover the latest designs in luxury jewelry and Oriental and Western scents, amidst the notable participation of local, regional, and international brands. In contrast, Cityscape Bahrain also attracted significant interest from investors and developers, witnessing the signing of several real estate agreements encompassing residential, commercial, and tourism projects. Attendance extended to visitors from the GCC who were keen to follow the latest trends in the world of jewelry and scents, as well as explore the investment opportunities presented by Cityscape. This enhanced the regional character of the exhibitions and increased interaction within their pavilions. These exhibitions continue their activities amidst growing visitor interest, reflecting their increasing prominence as economic and cultural platforms that support commercial and investment activity in the region.
The official awards ceremony for the Asian Equestrian Championships 120-kilometer endurance race took place in Thailand, with official representatives from the International Equestrian Federation and the organizing committee in attendance. First place was won by Emirati rider Saeed Al Harbi, while Royal Endurance Team rider Saud Sebt secured second place, and Thai rider Prutriat Serirang Wright came in third. The team made a notable appearance with the horse Faron de Mousse and rider Saud Sebt winning the Best Condition Award. The Director General of the Royal Stables and the Royal Endurance Team, Dr. Khalid Hassan, said that participating in the championship was a highly valuable experience. The Royal Endurance Team's riders delivered strong performances that showcased their readiness and continuous development. Bahrain's national team won the Gulf 3-on-3 Basketball Championship, which concluded in Muscat in Oman after a well-deserved victory over Qatar in the final match. The national team qualified for the final after overcoming Kuwait in the semi-finals in a match in which Bahrain's players were in control defensively and offensively from start to finish. The women's basketball team also achieved second place in the tournament after reaching the final, further confirming the clear development of the women's teams and their ability to compete seriously for Gulf titles. The national team star Bogdan Dragovic won the tournament's Most Valuable Player award after he his outstanding performance in leading the national team to the podium. The Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities is preparing to launch the 4th edition of the Muharraq Nights Festival. The festivities will continue until the end of December, coinciding with Bahrain's national celebrations. The city of Muharraq is ready to showcase its historical landmarks and share its rich stories as part of a major event on Bahrain's cultural scene. We have more in this report.
The historic city of Muharraq is hosting the 4th edition of the Muharraq Nights Festival. It draws visitors from all walks of life in Bahrain and beyond, timed to coincide with Bahrain's national celebrations. The purling path in historic Muharraq vibrates with broad cultural and artistic energy. It brings together top cultural figures and creators to offer diverse learning and artistic experiences that reflect the city's identity and richness. The festival involves the Sheikh Ibrahim bin Mohammed Al Khalifa Center for Culture and Research, a Rawaq art space, plus various cultural and artistic groups from public and private sectors. Muharraq Nights embodies Bahrain's focus on cultural work as a key to boosting national identity and preserving heritage. The event offers a varied program of arts, design, crafts, kids activities, food, music, general activities and tours. It's spread across multiple sites in central Muharraq, creating lively experiences that blend history and modernity for authentic cultural roots true to the place spirit.